Meanwhile, we're still watching those key races that are too close to call. Let's bring in Maggie Koerth from ABC's 538 for more on that. Maggie, the path to control of the Senate is growing more and more narrow. So where do each party's chances stand at this point?
Well, right now, we're really kind of watching a lot of these House races because that was, as you said, a better night for the Democrats than they were expecting. But it was kind of a, hey, it didn't go terribly night and not like a win sort of situation. And the House still looks like it could head to the Republicans. So we're really paying attention to some races in New York and in California, in particular New York, the New York 17th. Where Democratic incumbent Sean Patrick Maloney is likely to lose his seat. And that's a big deal considering that he is the chair of the DCCC, and he beat a progressive opponent to get there in the primary. In California, if everything keeps kind of going poorly in New York, California Democrats are really going to have to overperform if they want to keep the House. And so far, it kind of looks like they're not exactly doing that. California's 13th, which we had leaning blue, is a toss-up right now. And California's 27th, which we had leaning red, is kind of heading that direction.
Now, I want to talk about Florida and Ohio because we didn't see a red wave across the country, but we did in those two states, and they are historically, they've been considered swing states for a while. So what does that tell you?
Well, I think with Florida, we really see Ron DeSantis as a pretty strong candidate, pretty strong governor. He's somebody who can really project competence and professionalism, but also kind of be doing some of these very more conservative Trump-like policies. And that seems to be working pretty well, as does the tendency for the Latino voters down there to be a lot more conservative, and Democrats really haven't found a way in on that. In Ohio, we actually had some upsets that went in the Democratic direction. And what we've kind of come to the conclusion of is that Tim Ryan's win kind of pulled several other Democrats along with him.
So how important is it to have these big key players if just one person can make that big of a difference?
I think it probably is becoming more and more important. I mean, if people show up to vote for somebody that they really care about, that can pull other things in that direction.
Now, abortion rated surprisingly high in the exit polls, one of the top 2 voting issues. What else sticks out to you from that data, and what do you make of that?
Well, the abortion thing, I think, is something that we were expecting to be important. My colleagues and I who have been following abortion rights were kind of thinking that would end up being a lot more important than the narrative was suggesting it would be. And that seems to have been the case. I mean, if you look at Michigan, half of the voters in their exit polls, which are not exact but are important, were saying that that was one of the top things they were coming in voting on, and that state ended up enshrining abortion rights in its constitution.
And crime came in surprisingly low in those exit polls.
It did, yeah, and that has been a bit of a surprise. That's something that I'm going to be looking into a little bit more this morning.
All right, Maggie, we appreciate it as always. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.